Okay, we're playing against someone from France, 2263. What is he going to play? Seems to be having connection issues from what I can see. We're gonna have a Najdorf. Okay, let's go with the bishop g5, queen f3 system. We castle and we have a sacrifice on b5 here. b5 bishop takes, and then this is a very interesting position where we give up the piece for 3 pawns. That's the worst move actually, because I gain a tempo on the queen, and now this is, I think the computer gives a very big advantage here. I have had this position many times, and this queen to b6 move is not good. Let's see what the refutation was. I think taking the knight is the best move. Yeah, we just take the knight, and if he takes with the knight, I just take the pawn on g7, which is winning on the spot. If he takes with the pawn, I need to be careful because he can exchange queens. Now the good thing is he cannot even castle, so I simply play rook to g1 and I have the better game here, much better game. I need to watch out for sudden activity though, because his bishop and his knight can suddenly spring into action in some positions. Material is equal here, but these passed pawns can march very quickly, especially if queens are exchanged and the king is so far away. You normally start with a3 and then b5. You obviously wait for b5 first. You cannot allow for them to take on a3. But the black player soon realizes that his piece is doing nothing on the a file, so he tries to shuffle them around. Yeah, we need this b pawn. Obviously, we cannot allow the loss of any pawns here. Okay, let's defend and be able to use more pieces. What do we do on... yeah, he wants a queen exchange. Actually, the queen exchange works really well for me here. But since this is a blitz game and he has less time, I actually benefit from having the queens on the board. But objectively, the queens should be exchanged here. That is the best way to play. Let's harass him a little bit with something like queen to h5 maybe. Let's use the fact he's not familiar with this position and has less time. We can exchange queens at a later stage if the opportunity arises. He wants to come here, that's okay. Yeah, let's start with this move. I am using this opportunity to start moving the pawns a little bit. Yeah, that's okay. I have definitely achieved something while I don't think he has. I need to watch out for this very unpleasant move. The knight somehow ends up on d5 and I'm losing the exchange, so I need to watch out for this. Maybe not in this particular position, but it is a motif I need to watch out for. Now I'm more than happy to exchange the queen for the 2 rooks here. I think that's just winning on the spot basically if that happens. Let's keep harassing him. Keep him guessing. As I said, objectively I should be exchanging pieces, but I like playing in this opportunistic way. We're playing blitz after all, so in a classical game I have often exchanged these pieces. But what if knight to b5? Does he have bishop to a6? Yeah, most likely. Oh, but now I then just take on d7. Can we try this? Yeah, let's try this. And maybe play something like queen to d2. I need to maintain the time advantage. After this move he has bishop to a6. But that is okay, because then I have something very nasty if he moves the bishop. Oh, I don't have this move. He takes with the rook. Okay. The bishop cannot move. The knight probably can. But what happens after this? I actually want to play f5 here as well. If he plays e5, then he loses the queen. And if he doesn't, he wants to exchange queens again. I don't want to exchange queens here. I'm managing to maintain the time advantage, which is very good. His position is definitely more difficult to play. Okay, let's go for this now. Even the check would be very unpleasant on this square, because then I have knight takes f6. Okay. If the knight moves, I just take the bishop on d7. He doesn't have any forks with the knight. My knight is protecting everything. Okay. Let's try this. And here we can burn his time with moves like this. This is a move that doesn't make any sense, but he still needs to think about it. In case I'm planning something, which I'm not. This is just a time burner basically. But it is not an easy one to face, because if he takes, I just take with the queen, or give a very unpleasant check with the queen. Now, how can we do this? What about this? Ah, he just takes it with the queen. What am I doing? Thank God he didn't see it. Let's play this. He doesn't have any checks. He doesn't have any single thing. Maybe knight to b4, but that's a desperate move. That is a pretty desperate move. He wants to attack. 1 minute. What would be the most unpleasant move to play here? He wants to take here. He wants to take here. Yeah, I have to stop this. Oh, I need to watch out. This rook is hanging as well. He's offering a draw. There will be no draw in this position. Yeah. I'm sure there was a much better way to play this. Okay, overall I'm quite happy with the way I played in this game, and I really like this system against the Najdorf. I remember that on the way to the 2200 rating, the Najdorf was a really big problem, probably the most problematic Sicilian. And I found this system in a very old computer game that nobody seems to be aware of. And the idea is you're sacrificing this bishop for 2 pawns in a very good position. So essentially, if nothing comes out of your attack against the king, and there's a lot that can come out of it as in this game, you have these 2 passed pawns which can march on. So essentially, at any point, if you feel that black has avoided all the trouble against his king, you can exchange queens and march these pawns, which is supported by the king and white's remaining pieces. And it is not easy for black to stop this because he has some severe development issues. So this is a viable way to play, and that is how I always play against the Najdorf. If black doesn't play b5 here, they do have other options, but you just have a very good game basically, because if they delay the queenside expansion, you are simply quicker on the king side. And if they decide to castle short, if they decide to castle long, then they still have some serious weaknesses due to their pawn structure and due to the fact that there's no good square for the c8 bishop. So as you can see, all this leaves some very serious problems on the dark squares against black if they decide to castle queenside. Anyway, back to the game. Here, queen b6 is actually the worst move, and it leads to some serious problems for black as in the game, which I could have exploited better, but what I did was sufficient up to a point at least, bar the time scramble in the end where I could have played better, but we'll get to that point. So here queen to a5 is also the worst move. Here I should be playing rook to d1 first instead of capturing, because let's say if I play rook to d1 and they decide to castle, I think that this is simply not good because of this. Because of g5. And if they decide to take the queen, as I said a minute ago, whenever you feel that black's king is safe, you can exchange queens and march these pawns, and that's a very difficult position to play for black. As you can see, the knight is totally out of the game, so essentially you are up 3 pawns. His extra piece doesn't matter here, if you can count it as an extra piece, because you do have the 3 pawns for it. So here computer wants to bring the knight back. Bishop f4. It's a funny computer move. Bishop e3. Knight b8. And as you can see, what exactly are these pieces doing? So we initiate our pawn march, and this position is close to winning for white, as a matter of fact. Obviously it's a matter of technique, but if you get this position a number of times, you will automatically know what to do when it gets to this. So back to the game, bishop takes f6 is also a good move. Where is his king exactly going to go now? We saw what happened in the game. He gets into a bit of a trouble. Okay, he wants to connect the rooks, that's understandable, but again now the advantage is even bigger. Yeah, computer wants to open him up with e5, and then if he plays f5, yeah, this is just completely crushing basically, because then this rook and this pawn will be very weak. At the same time, your king is perfectly safe and his pieces are doing nothing. So g3 is also a good move. He wants to exchange queens. Now I'm not exchanging queens because obviously his king is in trouble, so we can further exploit this by keeping queens on the board. And let's get to the crucial point, which is that after all these moves, the advantage gets bigger and bigger. And here there's this funny move, which actually wins the exchange. Yeah, black has to take this because there's a fork, and that's winning. Also, that is the winning move in this position as well, and I failed to see that. So why did I get into trouble towards the end? I did not realize that the pressure on the c-file is too big. So if I at any point fail to put the right amount of pressure against his king, I might be in trouble. So here I did not realize that the queen needs to go on the dark squares. Yeah, with so little time, I should have done this because he actually manages to escape on the dark squares here. And now this is a problem, as you can see, because of the pressure on the c-file. But anyway, the knight to d5 tactic was ending the game on the spot, and because of his unfamiliarity with the position, he had to spend all this time thinking and eventually lost on time. So that was a good game overall. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.